Salam and good day. So for today, we are going to learn chapter 4 about sound. At the end of this topic, you should be able to understand the introduction to sound, digital audio, MIDI versus digital audio, recording and editing digital audio file formats, and last one, adding sound to multimedia projects. Okay, what is sound? Sound comprises the spoken word, voices, music, and even noise. It is a complex relationship involving a vibrating object, which is sound source, a transmission medium, usually air, a receiver, ear, and a receptor, brain. And sound pressure levels are measured in decibels. So here are the example. We continue with the digital audio. Digital audio data is the representation of sound stored in the form of samples point. And quality of digital recording depends on the sampling rate, that is the number of samples taken per second. And there are three sampling frequencies often used in multimedia, which are 44.1 kHz, 22.05 kHz, and 11.025 kHz. Here are the example of the sampling rate. Basically, the higher the sampling rate, the more the measurements are taken. So that one is the better quality for high sampling rate. And the lower the sampling rate, the lesser the measurements are taken. So basically, this one is the low quality of the sampling rate. You can see here the example. That one is the 44.100 kHz. That one we call it as sampling rate. For the 16 bit, that one is the sampling size. So, the number of bits used to describe the amplitude of a sound wave when sampled determines the sample size. Here are the example of the original waveform, and then the sampling frequency, sample data, and last one the reconstructed waveform. Digital audio is device independent, and basically the value of each sample is rounded off to the nearest integer. That means quantization. As you can see here is the example of the quantizing. From the original waveform without quantize, and then the quantized wave. And then below is the clipping from the original waveform. After clip wave will be like this. We continue with the crucial aspects of preparing digital audio files. First one would be the balancing the need for sound quality against available RAM and hard disk resources. Second one, setting appropriate recording levels to get a high quality and clean recording. Third one would be once a recording has been completed, it almost always needs to be edited. Once you record your voice, your sound, you need to edit in order to reduce the noise reduction. So basic sound editing operations include trimming, splicing, and assembly, volume adjustments, and working on multiple tracks. So basically all of these are the setting appropriate recording levels to get a high quality and clean recording. Okay, here are the example of the Audacity software. Okay, after this, we will be using this software to record our voice. Okay, so for this software, additional available sound editing operations include format conversion, resampling or downsampling, fade-ins and fade-outs, equalization, time stretching, digital signal processing, and last one, reversing sounds. All of this you can do it using Audacity. So here are the audio resolution determines the accuracy with which sound can be digitized. Okay, here are the formulas for determining the size of a digital recording. Okay, that one is the size of a monophonic. Okay, and then below one is the size of the stereo recording. Okay, we continue with the MIDI audio. What is MIDI? MIDI stands for Musical Instrument Digital Interface. Okay, MIDI files embedded in web page load and play promptly. Okay, before there was a wide use of MP3 and high bandwidth network, MIDI format audio is popular when an audio is required to be put on a website, as I said before. Okay, and it provides a standardized and efficient means of conveying musical performance information as electronic data. Okay, so the length of a MIDI file can be changed without affecting the pitch of the music or degrading audio quality. Okay, as you can see here are the example of the MIDI sequencer software. Okay, MIDI sequencer software let us to record and edit MIDI data like a word processor. Okay, you can cut and paste and then you can insert or delete using the sequencer software. Okay, here are the examples you can see here. Okay, the sequencer software. Okay, we continue with the MIDI versus digital audio. Okay, basically MIDI is analogous to structured or vector graphics, while digitized audio is analogous to bitmap images. Okay, so MIDI is vector graphics. Okay, digital audio is the bitmap images. And then MIDI is device dependent. Okay, digitized audio is device independent. Okay, MIDI files are smaller. Okay, MIDI file is smaller, and then digital audio is bigger. And then MIDI files sound better than digital audio files when played on high quality MIDI device. Okay, so you guys can read here. Okay, we continue with the recording and editing digital audio. Okay, first one, system sounds are assigned to various system events such as startup and warnings. Okay, and then for Macintosh, it provides several system sound options such as Glass, okay, Indigo, Laugh, and for Windows, the system sounds include start.wav and many more. Okay, and then for multimedia sound is either digitally recorded audio or MIDI music. Okay, you guys need to remember all these things. Alright, so we continue with the audio file formats. Okay, as you can see here, there are explanation on the audio file formats. Okay, for MIDI, here are the file format that we use. Okay, and then for audio digital, okay, digital audio, that one we have for Windows, we have for Macintosh, Unix, Real Audio, and last one is the MP3. MP3 is MPEG3. Okay. So, here are the process considered before adding sound to multimedia project. Okay, first one, you need to determine the file format, either it compatible with multimedia authoring software or not. Second one, you need to determine the sound playback capabilities. Okay, ada codecs or plugin. Okay. Okay, and the third one, you need to decide what kind of sound is needed. For example, background music, special sound effects, or spoken dialogue. And next, you need to decide where and when you want to use either digital audio or MIDI data. Next, you need to acquire source material by creating it from scratch or purchase it. Okay? And then you need to edit the sounds to fit your project. And last one, probably test the sounds to be sure they are timed properly with your project. So here are the explanation on the professional sound. Okay, as you can see here. Okay, and then formula to calculate the file size of digital recording in bytes. Okay. So, we continue with the keeping track of your sounds. Okay. For audio CD, the method for digitally encoding the high quality stereo of the consumer. Okay. CD music market is an international standard. We call it as ISO 10149, and this is also known as the Red Book Audio Standard. Okay. So for sound for your mobile, for example like ringtones, okay, the most widely and often heard sounds in today's world, okay, for ringtone. And then for the sound for the internet, okay, there are several methods for playing digital or MIDI sound from a web, basically from internet sources. And then the sound is actually not part of the web page, but it is a separate file with its own address on the internet, which is embedded in the page. Okay, that's all for chapter 4 about sound. Okay, you need to remember what is sounds. Okay, and then you need to know either digitally recorded audio or MIDI, musical instrument digital interface, and then you need to know the audio file formats, okay, and then also the comparison between the MIDI and the digital audio. Okay, that's all for chapter 4 about sound.